The channel is only 7 days old and I'm already pissing off a lot of my subscribers. Not the smartest idea, but whatever. Anyway guys, today I'm gonna rank JoJo parts, but before I start ranking them, I need to let you know 3 important things. Number 1, if you're an anime only, don't worry, you can watch the full video. When I rank the manga parts, I'm just gonna briefly mention them. I'm not gonna get into anything specific, so no spoilers from me. Secondly, I am going to include JoJolion in this list despite the fact that it still hasn't ended. I don't think that JoJolion's position will change unless the ending is really bad and then it drops to like place 7 or like 8 or something like that, but I seriously doubt that. And last but not least, this is just my opinion. The year is 2020, a lot of people can't comprehend this concept, but trust me, it's very simple, it's an opinion, and it's exclusive to me, right? It's super subjective, no need to get angry if your favorite part is 8th, no need to report my channel and wish for my existence to be eradicated. It's a simple disagreement, and it's okay. Oh yeah, it says JoJo parts bizarrely ranked. Honestly, there's nothing bizarre about ranking JoJo parts. The only bizarre thing is that I'm literally doing the most unoriginal thing in the history of JoJo YouTube. But consider it as like little clickbait. It's not really clickbait because usually we associate clickbait with lies, but it's kind of still clickbait. Anyway, let's rank these damn parts. At number 8, I have Battle Tendency. This part features one of my all-time favorite JoJo fights, and it also features one of my all-time favorite JoJo moments, although that moment is pretty much connected to the fight, but whatever. All that aside, I genuinely like this part, and please don't be misled by the fact that this part is ranked so low. It's just that I like other parts slightly more. But going back to part 2, I think this part has amazing soundtrack. I even have the opening on my iPhone and I don't have too many openings there, okay? I'm not that big of a weeb. The characters from part 2 are very fun and interesting and I really like their dynamics. The Hamon fights are awesome. The pacing is great, especially given the fact that this is the second shortest JoJo part with only 17 episodes. And overall, I think this part is great, but as I already said, it's just that I like other parts more. As simple as that. Number 7 is Polnareff's Bizarre Adventure. The only major issue that I have with this part is the actual pacing of the part. I think it should have been executed much better, and I think that this part would have benefited if it was only a little bit shorter, but that's just my opinion, of course. But anyway, this critique of part 3 doesn't change the fact that the character interactions of the main characters in this part are some of my favorite anime/manga interactions. And I purposely use the words anime and manga because I'm not only referring to JoJo. Part 3 also has random stupid shit that I personally really like. I mean, if you look at Rero's views, it's a huge number, right? I'm literally responsible for a good portion of that number, of that view number, okay? And Roda, I mean, I'm literally responsible for at least 50% of those views, so that says a lot. The point is, I'm a huge fan of these stupidly bizarre and unnecessary moments that part 3 features. And honestly, I can't logically explain why, but I just love moments like that, okay? Now, I think that the main reason why this part is above part 2 for me is because the final fight is legitimately one of the best fights in all of shonen. Sure, there's a high probability that I'm a little bit biased in saying that because I'm a fucking JoJo YouTuber, but I mean, the fighting choreography, the animation, the soundtrack, the tension, all the people that died before this fight, and I mean, this fight was just amazing, okay? Definitely one of the best fights I've ever seen, and I think that's one of the main reasons why this part is above part 2 for me, but anyway, I like other parts more, so let's continue with the video and the ranking. Coincidentally, at number 6, I have JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 6. As of right now, this part isn't animated, so I'm not gonna deeply explain my reasoning, but basically, I love the main character of Part 6. I think it has some incredible characters. I think the part as a whole is very unique, perhaps one of the most unique JoJo parts out there. And I'm so passionate about this part that my first video on this Eternal JoJo channel was about Part 6. In case you haven't seen it, I'm gonna have it at the end screen of this video. But since I don't want to spoil it for the anime onlys, I'm gonna stop talking about part 6 and I'm gonna move on to the next part. At number 5, I have the first part of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, aka Phantom Blood. Now I know for a fact that a lot of you will be super surprised by this decision, and I completely understand because part 1 is very simplistic, but for me, the tragedy of Jonathan Joestar is one of the most beautiful things that Araki ever wrote, and I really mean it. Furthermore, by killing off the main character so early, Araki shows the world Avarudo that he's an amazing writer. I mean, not many writers kill off their main characters so early. Now, granted, JoJo works differently than most series because it's separated into parts and it's easier to kill off the characters, right? But still, that doesn't negate the fact that what Araki did doesn't happen often, especially when we take into account that this is shonen we're talking about here. So anyway, I love part 1. Let's move on to the next part. Here's another coincidence. At number 4, I have JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 4. This was definitely the toughest decision to make because very little separates my 4th favorite part and my 3rd favorite part, but after thinking about it for a while, I decided to place Diamond is Unbreakable at number 4. After a very long part 3, part 4 was very refreshing and I really liked the genre switch from part 3 to part 4. In general, I like slice of life, and part 4 offers a lot of slice of life which I really like and appreciate. Geographically speaking, Morio is probably my favorite anime location, and I just love everything about part 4, man. I mean, Yoshikage Kira Yoshikage, whatever, it's Kira-sama because Kira is a godly villain. Kira is such an amazing villain, okay? I love everything about it. I love his theme song. Josuke is an amazing JoJo. This part made me cry a couple of times, most notably when Shigechi died. Once we got the reveal that Okuyazu's dad was searching for that photograph, and when Josuke tried to look cool in front of Josuke. These are some of the highlights. These were the 3 main moments that made me cry, especially Okuyazu's dad, man. I mean, that shit was just, oh my god. But anyway, let's move on. At number 3, I have Part 5, Golden Wind. I think this part tops Part 4 for me because I personally enjoy the shit out of crime-related stories. I mean, the Godfather trilogy and Scarface are some of my favorite movies, so that right there tells you everything you need to know. But overall, apart from that, I think Part 5 was fantastic. I know that quite a few people aren't the biggest fans of Giorno, the main character, and Diavolo, the main villain, but I personally adore both. And another very personal reason as to why I really love this part wholeheartedly is it's because this is the part that made me think of becoming a JoJo YouTuber for the first time. I just considered it at the time. I wasn't 100% sure, but still, that was technically, like, part 5 was technically the beginning of this channel, if that makes sense. Golden Wind definitely has a special place in my heart, but there are, ladies and gentlemen, 2 parts which are above it, and it's about to get controversial. Fuck, I'm literally afraid to say it. I mean, what I'm doing right now is very unsafe and dangerous, okay? And those 2 words practically mean the same thing, but this just tells you that I'm getting a little bit nervous because it's about to get spicy. My second favorite JoJo part is part 7. My favorite JoJo part is part 8. Why is part 8 my favorite JoJo part? Part 8 is my favorite JoJo part because part 8 is the best JoJo part. Bye.